After 47 quiet years, NASA reports that its Voyager 1 probe, the most far-flung man-made object in the universe, is once again transmitting useful data to Earth. A terrifying communication was relayed by Voyager 1, something is directly approaching Earth. Nobody anticipated that it would still be listening, much less sending messages back, after it was constructed decades ago to take photographs of planets. Why now, as it drifted alone in the dark, did this ancient spaceship choose to speak up? Watch to see what this message, the signal that shocked NASA, will tell you about what's on the horizon that will endanger us all. Consider yourself a NASA scientist. You are accustomed to receiving dull, outdated reports from this aging space lump, such as information about cosmic particles, their temperature, and their distance from you. Everything that causes most people's eyes to glaze over, you know. However, your old toy, the one you had nearly forgotten, decides to sound an alarm when you wake up one morning. That naturally got people talking, like when a friend who has been avoiding you for decades suddenly leaves a message that reads, "By the way, something weird is coming your way." Was it a comet, some dust, or perhaps, and this is where people start to speculate, something else? Prepare yourself before we go any further. The truth about Voyager's message may be more than any NASA employee could have imagined, and trust us, this won't be the only thing that surprises you. You see, when Voyager first came out in September 1977, people still believed that their polyester suits would make them look good. It was designed to travel to other worlds, snap photos, and then leave Dodge. In addition to all of that, it was the only human-made object to completely leave the solar system. The twist is that after all these years of traveling across the chilly, empty voids beyond of our sun's reach, it feels as like it has something fresh to communicate, and the timing has many baffled. The message wasn't a proper status report or even a deep space rendition of, "How are you?" It contained patterns that were slightly off, something the spaceship had never sent before, and it was strange and different. The scientific community, which is constantly in need of something to cling to, started to speculate about its meaning. They investigated it, analyzed the message, and reached the disturbing conclusion that something is approaching us, something large enough for the probe to detect even as it floats in space, running on a battery older than the parents of most people. Remember that the spacecraft is over 50 years old. It uses small signals to communicate, and it takes more than 20 hours for them to reach us. In comparison to modern smartphones, its technology is about as sophisticated as a brick. Even still, there was a pattern to this message that made it obvious that it wasn't just another cosmic coincidence. It was intentional, even though it wasn't quite obvious, there was a purpose. Scientists surmised that it was attempting to convey that something had changed and that something fresh was moving in this direction. Theories started to circulate, of course. Was it merely the grand entry of a comet? A straying piece of rock and ice that just so happened to come into contact with the probe? Or was it something unfamiliar, something that was difficult to ignore? Some even raised the question of whether the ancient space traveler had sensed gravitational waves, those large vibrations in spacetime brought on by massive celestial phenomena. The problem is that the probe wasn't designed to find such things, but occasionally technology does more than it should. Even old rubbish can catch you off guard sometimes. Then, of course, came the more outrageous notions, aliens. Since, let's be honest, there will always be that crowd, an unidentified spaceship or a huge structure floating in the dark, something that has finally made an appearance in our part of the cosmos. It's science fiction, to be sure, but the lack of specific solutions only leaves people wondering. Despite the rational portion of our minds telling us it's probably simply a rock, people become thrilled about the unknown. But why now? Why would the probe now have anything of relevance to say after nearly 50 years of silence? Perhaps it's just a coincidence, a fluke, that it encountered something noteworthy after all this time. Or perhaps it's in a somewhat rougher region of space, where strange behavior is being displayed by magnetic fields and particles. Imagine it as an elderly ship navigating choppy waters. It may be experiencing those cosmic waves in a new way now, picking up bits of information it was previously unaware of. Given that Voyager's signal is now reaching us, we must ask ourselves if this is a brand new warning or if something ancient has been traversing space for a very long time. A clue from somewhere unknown. Another possibility is that this message was really old and simply took this long to reach us. The spaceship is more than 12 billion miles distant, after all. Its messages simply take more than 20 hours to reach Earth at the speed of light. Therefore, it may be much closer today than when the probe first detected it if it did detect something traveling in our direction. And that, well, that's what people find uncomfortable. Then there are the non-scientific theories, the ones that spark discussion and fill online discussion boards. Everyone with a keyboard now knew everything there was to know about interstellar signals. According to others, the aging spaceship served as a microphone for the universe's message, which was some sort of cosmic warning. Come on, though, there isn't exactly a hotline to Earth in the universe. We simply don't have the whole picture yet, and it's more likely that something odd happened. NASA, however, was not going to overlook this. To find out what the probe might have collided with, they threw their finest brains at it, began analyzing data, and aimed some of the largest telescopes in the world in its direction. Receiving a message from outer space that appears to contain a warning is not something you get very often. The timing, the peculiar message structure, and the extreme improbability of it all raise serious questions, even though it could just be a coincidence, space junk, or some other unusual cosmic occurrence. The unexpected return of the spaceship to our radar serves as a sort of cosmic reality check in addition to being a scientific event. There are still a lot of things about the universe that we cannot anticipate or comprehend, despite our efforts to learn more about it by sending probes into the unknown. Even with all of our technology and expertise, we can still get caught off guard by things because space is so vast. There is still a lot that we don't understand, as evidenced by the possibility that the probe, that dusty old machine, sensed something strange. The spacecraft has also gained attention again as a result of this entire incident, reigniting interest in one of humanity's most audacious projects. It's funny that we can still be surprised by such an old piece of technology. Naturally, NASA has been quick to downplay the concerns. They reassure everyone that nothing is coming to crash into Earth or abduct humanity, and that there is no impending danger. However, even they acknowledge that something strange is happening and that it might take some time to identify it. The experience of peering into the wide, dark abyss and realizing that something is staring back is perhaps what ultimately makes this whole situation so captivating, rather than just the science. Something was detected by the spaceship as it drifted through the darkness. Although it's not the most precise or clearest message, it's enough to make us question. It serves as a sufficient reminder that despite all of our progress, there is still a great deal we do not understand. The message that implies something might be on its way to us comes from the furthest reaches of human exploration. Or something that left a mark on a spaceship cruising through emptiness, nonetheless. The truth remains that the ancient probe chose to inform us, regardless of whether it is a comet, a cloud of cosmic dust, or something we haven't yet begun to contemplate. It's a reminder that the story isn't finished yet, like a whisper from deep space. What will we do about it is the question. Indeed, scientists are doing their calculations, NASA is looking into it, and everyone is waiting to see if there are any further developments. All we can do for the time being, though, is wait while keeping our eyes on the skies. Perhaps there's nothing to be concerned about, perhaps it's just another piece of space junk traveling in a harmless direction, or perhaps the probe has alerted us to something that truly requires our attention. Even 47 years after its debut, it manages to capture our interest. It is out there, floating well beyond the reach of the human eye, and perhaps, just possibly, it is seeing something for which we must prepare. It's coming slowly but definitely, whatever it is, and perhaps we'll be ready when it does. Despite some skepticism, NASA's top scientists pointed their largest telescopes to the stars and started going over Voyager data. The unrelenting relic. It's important to remember how amazing this tiny machine is as the mission's narrative progresses. Imagine a computer from the 1970s still performing flawlessly, or an automobile from the 1970s that is still in good working order today. Out in outer space, that's what we have, operating on antiquated technology with very little power remaining but yet sending us a signal. It is essentially the best survivor. We are hopeful that this antique probe has one last amazing tale to share. It is a remnant from a time when mankind were just beginning to venture into the deep end of space research. With a great deal of optimism and desire, the first and second probes were launched. They bear the golden record, which is a human message to whoever or whatever may one day find it. The sounds of nature, music, greetings in dozens of languages, and even a child's laughter capture our essence. With this most recent message, it seems as though the abyss is speaking back to us, as though we were yelling, "Hey, we're here." Surely there's a lyrical quality about it. This small, worn-out bit of metal is nevertheless contributing to the discourse and making its voice heard. The finest aspect is that we have no idea what will happen next. We just know that there is something out there, something big enough for the probe to detect. It may be a phenomena, an object, or perhaps something we haven't even theorized yet. The message is a sobering warning that space is unpredictable. Voyager 1 is located in a part of space that few people can even understand, 12 billion miles distant. It's lonesome, chilly, and dark. It's not empty, though. Particles, fields, and energies are all flowing about in the darkness, creating patterns that we are only now starting to comprehend. Even if Voyager's sensors are outdated by today's standards, they are nevertheless capable of alerting us to the fact that something is off, that something isn't quite right. And who knows? That distinction might be on its way to us. Voyager's designers never imagined that it would still be in operation and transmitting today. It has outlasted all of the 5 years that they built it to last. When something that was just supposed to be transitory ends up living so long that it sees things no one else could have anticipated, it's funny how things sometimes turn out. Voyager serves as a reminder of who we were and how far we've come, much like a ghost from the past. Now, it serves as a reminder that there are many surprises in the cosmos. Who knows what will happen next? The truth is that no one truly understands what Voyager has detected, despite the abundance of speculations and opinions. It might be something novel, or it might be innocuous. It might be the start of a new era in our knowledge of the cosmos, or it might just be a bug, a peculiarity of outdated equipment finally letting go. However, until we are certain, we are left with that feeling of wonder, that perhaps there is something worth finding. Still in motion, Voyager 1 continues to drift further away from us with each passing second. Now it's in interstellar space, where the sun's effects are no longer sensed and the rules are altered. Everything is conceivable out there, the vast unknown. And it's simply incredible that it's still communicating with us and sending us signals. The possibility that one of those messages could be a warning, a heads up about something we need to be prepared for, is even more astounding. Consider the experience of those scientists sitting in their labs, looking at data from a machine so far away that it takes nearly a day for its messages to reach us. They're attempting to decipher what Voyager is saying in order to determine whether it's a fluke or whether it's actually telling us something significant. Knowing that you could be on the verge of making a significant discovery or that you might be pursuing shadows in the dark must be both exciting and worrisome. One thing is certain: as we continue to decipher these signals, Voyager's journey did not conclude when it departed our solar system. For the rest of us, it serves as a reminder that we are still in the dark and a call. For the time being, we may be confined to this tiny blue dot, but we are reaching out to the cosmos in an effort to comprehend what else there. Even when we are unsure of the answers, Voyager 1 is a representation of the will and will to keep going and to keep asking questions. It serves as a reminder that we are only beginning and that there is still a great deal to discover and observe. Even for a spacecraft stumbling through empty space, 47 years is a long time for anything to continue functioning. Nevertheless, we continue to listen and wait to see what else Voyager has in store for us. It might be nothing or everything. In any case, it's an issue worth solving and a tale worth following. We can only hope that, as we wait, we'll be prepared for whatever comes up or is out there. Despite being far away in the emptiness of space, Voyager 1 is still an important part of our story. It continuously beams back information from the boundaries of the known, keeping us connected to the farthest reaches of space. We'll be listening intently in a universe as vast as ours as long as it keeps communicating. Every whisper matters, every signal is a gateway to fresh information, a springboard for development, and a greater comprehension of the universe we live in. We can learn a great deal from this relationship about the cosmos and ourselves. It's about our natural curiosity, our ability to withstand uncertainty, and our desire to explore new areas. Voyager 1 is a monument to human ambition and inventiveness, not just a spaceship.